October 4th, 1970. Room 105 at the Landmark Motor Hotel in Los Angeles. Janis Joplin is found dead at 27 years old. And here's what happens next. The world immediately starts writing the ending as if it explains everything that came before it. The wild child, the tragic hippie, the 27 Club, the cautionary tale. But here's the thing nobody wants to admit. Janis Joplin didn't become a legend because she died young. She became a legend because she spent her short life refusing every single rule about what a woman's voice was supposed to sound like. This isn't a story about inevitable tragedy. It's a story about what it costs to be undeniable. January 19th, 1943. Port Arthur, Texas. If you're looking for the moment that creates Janis Joplin, you won't find it in some dramatic childhood trauma. You'll find it in something much simpler and much crueler. She doesn't fit. She's artsy in a town that values conformity. She's loud in a place that rewards quiet. She reads beatnik poetry. She paints. She asks too many questions. And Port Arthur makes her pay for it. She gets bullied, called ugly, voted ugliest man on campus as a cruel joke at the University of Texas. She later says they laughed me out of class, out of town, and out of the state. Now, most stories would frame this as pure suffering. Poor Janis, rejected and broken. But that's not what happens. Because somewhere in that rejection, Janis learns the most dangerous lesson an artist can learn. If people are going to laugh at you anyway, you might as well give them something worth remembering. She finds blues and folk music, Bessie Smith, Leadbelly, Big Mama Thornton, and she doesn't just listen to them. She studies them like a language she needs to survive. Because that's what music becomes for her. A way to turn embarrassment into power. A way to take all that hurt and channel it into something so loud, so raw, so undeniable that nobody can look away. She drops out of college in 1963, not because she's giving up, because school can't teach her what she needs to know. 1966, San Francisco. This is where everything changes. But not because San Francisco saves her. San Francisco just happens to be a place where being too much is finally the right amount. She joins Big Brother and the Holding Company, recommended by a promoter named Chet Helms. And for the first time in her life, there's a stage big enough to hold what she's got inside her. But here's what people miss about this period. Janis isn't just raw talent exploding onto the scene. She's working. She's rehearsing. She's learning how to weaponize vulnerability. Because that voice, that absolute freight train of a voice, doesn't happen by accident. To sound that free, you have to know exactly what you're doing. Then comes June 17th, 1967, Monterey Pop Festival. Big Brother and the Holding Company takes the stage, and Janis performs Ball and Chain. And in the span of one song, she goes from a local San Francisco phenomenon to a national event. The cameras catch it. The crowd feels it. Even the other musicians watching from the side of the stage look stunned. This is the moment most documentaries call the birth of a legend. But that's lazy storytelling. Because Monterey isn't magic. It's the culmination of years of work, rejection, study, and craft finally converging in one perfect storm of readiness meeting opportunity. The legend doesn't begin at Monterey. A serious musician arrives. 1968. Cheap Thrills goes to #1. Janis Joplin is now officially famous, and fame does what it always does. It starts turning a human being into a character. The press doesn't just review her music. They review her body, her drinking, her sex life. They write about her like she's a sociological experiment gone wrong, half genius, half warning label. And here's where we need to be honest about something uncomfortable. Janis participates in this. She plays the wild woman. She gives great quotes. She understands the game. But there's a difference between playing a role and becoming trapped inside it. Male rock stars get to be complicated. They get to be messy geniuses. Robert Plant, Mick Jagger, Jim Morrison. Their chaos reads as authenticity, but when Janis does it, it reads as pathology, as proof that women can't handle power. She's not just fighting to be heard as a musician, she's fighting to be heard as a full human being in a culture that keeps trying to reduce her to a type. So in 1968, she makes a choice that confuses everyone. She leaves Big Brother and the holding company. The press frames it as drama, as ego, as the beginning of the end. But if you actually listen to what she says, it's about something much simpler. She wants to grow. She wants a band that can keep up with what she hears in her head. She forms the Cosmic Blues Band, tighter, more horns, more ambition, and the world immediately starts keeping score. August 1969. Woodstock. This should be a triumph, the biggest festival in history, a generation-defining moment. But Janis hates her performance. Rain delays, the massive crowd, heavy drinking before she goes on. She feels off, disconnected, like she's performing a version of herself rather than actually being herself. And this matters because it destroys the myth that Janis is just effortless chaos, that she's all impulse, no craft. Even legends have bad nights. Even icons feel the weight of expectation. By now, substance use is deeper in the picture. Not as a personality trait, not as rebellion, as a way to manage pressure that has no off switch. The machine wants Janis on demand, raw, wild, unpredictable. But the person inside that character is exhausted. She's not trying to destroy herself. She's trying to survive a role that requires her to be on every moment of every day. And the tragedy isn't that she's weak. The tragedy is that nobody around her knows how to separate the person from the product. 1970. One more attempt at getting it right. She forms the Full Tilt Boogie Band, and something shifts. The sound tightens up. The musicianship deepens. There's a foundation under the voice now, something solid. If you only know the myth of Janis Joplin, the doomed hippie, the inevitable tragedy, this part surprises you. Because it doesn't look like decline. It looks like momentum. She's recording what will become Pearl. And if you listen to those sessions, you don't hear someone who's finished. You hear someone who's consolidating power, getting clearer about what she can do. She's working, making choices, doing multiple takes, building something. This is the part of the story that gets erased when we let the ending swallow everything that came before it. Because the standard narrative wants you to believe that Janis was always headed toward October 4th, 1970. That every choice, every drink, every risk was just another step toward the inevitable conclusion. But that's not how life works. That's how we rewrite life after the ending arrives. The truth is messier and more tragic. Janis Joplin dies in the middle of building something. Not at the end of a decline, but in the middle of evolution. Pearl is released posthumously on January 11th, 1971. It becomes her biggest commercial success. Me and Bobby McGee hits #1, and it's the cruelest kind of proof. Evidence that she was getting somewhere, arriving when she can't use it. So what do we do with Janis Joplin? We can file her away as another member of the 27 Club, another symbol of the dangers of excess, another cautionary tale about fame and drugs and the 60s. Or we can tell the harder, better truth. Janis Joplin was a serious musician who spent her entire career fighting to be heard as a complete person in a world that kept insisting she was just a character, a type, a warning. She was an outsider who learned to turn rejection into performance, who studied craft while everyone assumed she was pure chaos, who kept trying to build the right sound, the right band, the right life, even when the pressure was suffocating. The work is the point, not the ending. When you watch footage of her at Monterey, when you listen to Pearl, when you hear that voice cut through everything, it still changes the room. Not because she died young, because she built something that survived her. In 1995, she's inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. In 2005, she receives a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. But the real legacy is simpler. She showed an entire generation of women that you don't have to sing quietly to be taken seriously. Now tell me, what artist do you think changed music by refusing to play by the rules? Drop it in the comments. And if you want more stories about the real people behind the legends, hit subscribe. More coming soon.